Welcome to the Mitsubishi Electric Technical Product video series. In this video, we will be showing you how to separate the PEAM LAA series ducted unit fan deck section from the coil section for ease of maneuvering into a ceiling space. The recommended tools you will need to make the separation process as smooth as possible are a cordless drill. A 450mm extension bit will make reaching the required screws far less cumbersome than trying to reach inside the fan assembly box. A 5/16 inch tech or nutsetter bit, a Phillips head bit or Phillips head screwdriver, and a small flat-bladed screwdriver to assist with loosening the mounted zip ties. Locate the electrical panel on the side of the indoor unit. There are two screws that will need to be removed from the right-hand side of the electrical plate cover. Once these screws have been removed, slide the electrical panel to the right and lift out. Once this has been removed, you will see a pair of cables running from the board into the coil section of the unit, and an additional plate between the two sections with 3 securing screws. Remove the 3 securing screws and the smaller plate, and trace the cable to the mounted zip tie at the top of the electrical box. Using a small flat-bladed screwdriver, push down on the tab located under the zip tie tail that holds it in place. Once depressed, you can loosen or pull out the zip tie from around the cables. Disconnect the cables from the CN44 socket at the bottom of the electrical board, and then move the cables out of the way. Inside the return air compartment, utilize the 450mm extension bit to remove 8 securing screws, as well as 2 guide screws that will need to be loosened or removed for separation. There are 2 securing screws in the middle of the fan deck section, located at the bottom of the unit just below where the fan motor position is, that will need to be removed. On the left-hand side of the fan assembly section, there are 3 securing screws to be removed, 1 at the top and 2 at the bottom, as well as a guide screw set into a snowman-shaped cutout. This guide screw will need to be loosened, or you can remove it entirely for the separation. Mirrored on the right-hand side of the fan assembly section, there are 3 securing screws to be removed, again 1 at the top and 2 at the bottom, and a guide screw set into the snowman-shaped cutout that needs to be removed or loosened for separation. Once these steps have been completed, the 2 sections can be separated. If the guide screws were only loosened, lift the fan barrel section of the unit so that the snowman cutout's larger section are over the screws, and separate the 2 sections. The individual halves can now be maneuvered into their final locations independently. Here is a diagram of the dimensions of the individual sections of the LAA indoor units, to simplify calculations for maneuvering into and mounting the unit in its final position. To reassemble the unit, you simply perform these actions in reverse, ensuring that the guide screws are put back into the coil side for mounting onto the snowman cutouts. Lift the fan barrel assembly section into place over the guide screws and settle in place. Ensure that the 2 pieces are as level as possible with each other. Align the remaining screws and partially thread all screws to prevent cross-threading. Once all the screws have been threaded, tighten all screws fully and secure the unit together. Once complete, feed the coil sensor cable back into the electrical panel and secure it with the mounted zip tie and clips. Finally, plug the sensor back into CN44 on the PCB and re-secure the electrical panel.